I have a hard time with the idea of sin.
Mm.
It really brings up a lot of stuff in me regarding my own upbringing. And I like to replace the word sin with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
We are traumatized. We are by nature traumatized. We actually don't come in traumatized. Well, I mean, some of us might. Depends on what happens when we're in the womb, and what actually we do come in traumatized because we're carrying generational trauma is being passed down.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like to replace it with trauma and not sin. It just helps me in work through it more.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and that framing has definitely played a key part in helping me work through a lot of my tension with identity, I guess. Yeah, like what does it mean to be broken? Like, what does it mean to be human? What is human nature? Like, if you're taking that framework of like good versus evil, healed versus unhealed, whole versus broken, like even in trauma, like traumatized and untraumatized, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like using the frame of trauma definitely feels at least a little bit more compassionate.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Although now I'm connecting something with sin. Well, the story of sin happened with apparently the first humans, the first two humans. And then that sin gets passed down. Mm-hmm. So a trauma happened with the first humans, and that is just inherently passed down generation after generation after generation.
Yeah. Oh, this is getting into really fun territory. Here's the really, really interesting part that kind of unpacked in my mind, as I do thought experiments about like religion and original sin or original trauma. That original sin wasn't actually that they did anything wrong per se, right? Like the original sin is, I don't know, like depends on who you ask, right? It's either that they defied God and ate of the fruit, or the fruit itself, right? Is the knowledge of good and evil that is the sinfulness, right? So if I go with that second idea, the idea itself that you did something wrong, that is the original trauma. Right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right?
Oh, God.
Because traumatizing events do not inherently cause trauma, right? Like my cats beat each other up all the time. Like if I were them, I would be traumatized, but for them it's just fun. Yeah, because they don't think that is, oh my God, this is such a wrong thing. They don't feel the shame that comes with this is wrong. Like it just is, right? So it's almost like our knowledge, our insistence on demarcating between what is good and what is evil is what makes us avoid certain things and attach too much to certain things. Like, this is good, I want more of it. Well, that's evil, I'm gonna try my best to never do it. And then we get in our own way, and then we start building all of the shame, and then that's what we pass down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like fun little thought.
That is a really fun little thought that just went in my head.
What?
Specifically, the trauma was, or the sin wasn't that the apple was eaten, and it wasn't that there was a defiance happening. It was that we were shamed. They were shamed afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
They were shamed afterwards that they ate the fruit and told you did wrong, and now you're constantly looked at as having to try and do the right thing, but I'm judging you that you're doing it wrong. So there's this sense that we are under this microscope of judgment, and if that's the way that someone's approaching us, how are we going to do it right?
Yeah, totally. I have this desire to poke at that. I mean, well, not poke, I guess, like to add on just a little bit more.
Please.
Yeah?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, because I agree with you, but for me, it's a little bit. I want to go a little bit further. It's not that the other person is judging us or shaming us, because if you think about God, right, going like, "Oh no, why have you eaten of this fruit? I told you not to do it." That doesn't necessarily imply shame or judgment, right? He's just saying, "Why did you do this thing that I told you not to do?" But Adam and Eve, because they ate of this fruit, now has this idea of good and evil in their mind, right? They feel judged when all God was doing was asking a simple question, right? And they go like, "Oh crap, God told me not to do it and I did it. How could I have done it?" And the other one's judging and shaming themselves. Yeah, so it's that like attachment, that knowledge in there, and that's what creates trauma in us, which I don't know, I personally find really cool.